We feel an natural obligation to give back to someone in the same form that they first give something to us. Essentially, don't take something without giving something in return. Someone passes you in the hallway, for instance, and says hello, you say hello back. It's just natural. You feel that obligation to respond to them, and if you don't, you feel kind of uncomfortable, out of balance. That's the law of reciprocity. And there's not a culture in the world that doesn't have that law of reciprocity. There's probably some way in which that is a survival benefit to us. But the interesting thing is that psychologists have actually been able to look at that in real life situations and quantify it and measure it. For example, those little labels you get in the mail with a request for a donation of some kind. It seems innocent enough, but you get it, and it triggers this law of reciprocity. You think, well, I can't send them back. It's got my name and address on it, no good to anybody else. But then if you use them, you feel an obligation to do something in return. Those little labels, they just probably cost 9 cents or so for a sheet of those labels that you get. But they find that if they include those or something like that in a letter, the response rate goes up. It goes from 18% to 35%. It almost doubles the return for the charities that use those. Another example, there was a religious group called the Hare Krishna group. And back in the 60s, they were desperate for funds. They couldn't get donations from Americans because people didn't understand exactly who they were or what they represented. And so they came up with the idea of having their representatives come up to people in public places, mostly airports. And they would give them a free gift, a flower on their lapel or a book or something. And then after the person had received it, ask for a donation if they would choose to do so. People were caught in this law of reciprocity. They didn't understand the Hare Krishnas. They didn't necessarily agree with them. They didn't necessarily want the gift that they had been given. But they gave anyway because of this law of reciprocity.